from the opening episode, it seems that children do play a big episode going forward this season, in probably a very unsettling way. Can you talk about that? And
well, I always think that horror is very close to fairy tales. If you think about Hansel and Gretel, it's ultimately about a cannibalistic witch that is trying to devour two kids. It's a very. There are elements in fairy tales, in the traditional ones, that are very, very unsettling, and I think that translates here, in which a creature like the Master, or like a disease like the strain, would have no qualms infecting only good people or adults or bad people, or it just does what it does, and it does what it needs. And we created in the books these characters that are the feelers, that are these very disturbing little creatures that used to be kids, but they are now extensions of the will of the Master.
We talk about the sort of Kelly's sort of new role this season, where she's sort of been, I guess, given a promotion of sorts.
Yes.
Can you talk about that and what it is that she controls now?
Well, the idea is the Master has what we call it internally. We call it the leash. Like, he releases the leash if he wants you to regain a little bit of your personality back. So Icor's, for example, basically has no leash, unless he misbehaves. And the Master can let him do. He keeps his mind, blah, blah, blah. The General Strigoi has a huge leash. They are basically like attack dogs. They do only what the Master wants. And Kelly is given back her voice and a little bit of her will in order for her to become like a hound tracking Zack,
And what is the state of New York this season? How far will we see it descend going through season 2?
It's starting to not work quite well. Season 3 is going to be much, much worse. I think, I won't spoil it, but it's going to get really, really bad. It gets really, really bad.
Talking about Eldritch Palmer, I remember a big theme in the first season was sort of how the Strigoi would use love against humanity and as our weakness. And he's made a big play in the beginning to sort of put the city's trust in him. Is that something else that they're exploiting? People looking for a savior?
Oh yeah, I think that we make more of it next season. This season we build it up, but I think that one of the things that I wanted to do in the books is for you to as a reader realize that it takes not much to submit to the will of somebody else for safety. I mean, when we are afraid, and the way we are controlled by a government is by them offering us safety in exchange for our freedom. If you give me your freedom, I'll protect you. And we've done it time and again, century after century. So we wanted to do it, and we're gonna do it on the strain. And the ending of the season, episode 13, is brutal about that. I mean, it really sets up the arena for something really, really nasty.
And where are their minds at entering season 2 after coming very close to defeating the Master, but him getting away? It was a victory, but not the one they were looking for.
Yes.
How are they feeling going in?
Well, the idea is, I mean, it's such an impossible task. Is really it's going to take a lot more to defeat the Master than that. So they are trying to regroup. They're trying to. Satrakian is really at odds with the fact that he's aging and that he doesn't remember things, and all the shortcomings of the heroes start to make them realize this is not going to be an easy task.
It's funny because you mentioned they're regrouping and trying to figure out how to get back at the Master, but the other side of that was the Master, and everyone on the other side is taken back by just how much the Master got hurt.
Yes.
Just the fact that he was wounded. And so what is the Master feeling going into this?
Well, that's what we discussed. I mean, the great thing about it is the Master had not felt any pain for centuries. So that alone was a victory, to really hurt the bastard.
And what sort of effects, going from the television production of season 1 and all the great effects you guys brought to the show as far as the monsters, what can we look forward to in season 2 now? New creature-wise, perhaps? Or
Well, I'm on episode 7 or 8 on the VFX. And I can tell you there's some really nasty stuff. Really nasty stuff. I think that we have some of the we've been very creative with some very graphic stuff, but also I hope it's fun for Twisted Minds. I mean, it's really, and I think the feelers are a big thing that we're doing. I think they move and their behavior and what happens to them. Then we introduce a character that I love in the books, Quinlin, Mr. Q, and I think is absolutely an amazing addition to the vampire hunting team, and is rapidly becoming everybody's favorite hunter. And then we introduce a Mexican masked wrestler, which is my favorite character in the books, the Silver Angel, you know. And I shot, on episode 4, I shot the black and white Mexican movie that opens the episode. I shot that too.
Oh, so, wonderful.
Yes.
Awesome.